Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to learn Java with SoloLearn BlueJ. I should mention that this video should work with anyone regardless of operating system, like Windows, Linux, or Mac. But in this particular video, it's going to mostly favor those who use Windows 10. So let's get started. First things first, we're going to have to create the SoloLearn account, and we're going to have to download BlueJ. First, we're going to download BlueJ. So in Google, just type in BlueJ. It should be the first website. And then we're going to click for whatever operating system you're using. In this case, we're going to click on the one that has Windows. And since I believe I have already downloaded mine, we shouldn't really have to wait. But if you are waiting, we should just create the SoloLearn account. Yep. So meanwhile, let's go back to Google Chrome, open another tab, or Google, and we're going to type in SoloLearn. So we're just click on the first website, and we're going to click in sign in, even though you have a created account. So if you want to sign up for an account, just click sign up. I would recommend using your real life name. I'll probably explain that why later, and then put in your email and create a password. But since I already have an account, I'm just going to sign in. So we have our account now, and be sure to confirm it during your email. Meanwhile, we also do have to create we have to create files for BlueJ. So we're just going to go to folder, and this will work better if you use documents or 3D objects, but in this case I'm going to use 3D object as my library. We're going to create a file called code. This might not look like a file, guys, but it's basically a file, but all I did was just change the icon of it. So just right click the folder, properties, and then customize it, change icon. So that's what I did to my folder. So now that we have our code folder, we're going to create a home folder or a personal folder for code like that. And once we have created that, we're going to create a Java folder. And once we have created the Java folder, we're going to create one more folder called #1.basics. So we can just close out of that right now. Go back to Google Chrome. And back to SoloLearn. Meanwhile, BlueJ is still installing. So we're just going to add Java to our courses. So we're just going to click Manage Courses. Scroll down till you find Java. Wait, did I skip it? Yes, I did. So we're going to click it, add to my courses. We're done. Exit of that. Click Java here. And then now click Open Course. So I'm going to go through an introduction really quickly of Java. And by the time we reach the Hello program, that's when BlueJ should be done installing. So meanwhile, let's get started again. So Java is a high-level modern programming language designed in the early 90s by Sun Microsystems, and is currently owned by Article. Java is a platform independent, which means that you only need to write the program once to be able to run it on many different platforms. Java is portable, robust, and dynamic, with the ability to fit the needs of virtually any type of application. So next we have a question. To distribute your application to different platforms, how many Java versions do you need to create? As we have just read right now, we just need one version. Because it is I can't pronounce it, but it's platform independent. So the really cool thing about SoloLearn, guys, is that if you don't understand what I'm talking about or the websites, you can just click the comments section down here, and people can actually explain this in different ways that actually made it possible to understand. This comment section has helped me a lot personally, since I am, after all, a beginner programmer myself. So Java, more than 3 million devices running Java. Java that is used to develop apps for Google's Android, iOS, various desktop applications such as media players, antivirus programs with applications, and so on and so on. Next, which of the following statements is true? So, number 1. So basically, this should be the right one. Yes. Alright, so BlueJ is done installing, and we can finally use this at the right moment. So we're going to show this in folder. Folder, please pop up. It's probably not done installing, so what we could do is just click the files, go to downloads, and BlueJ is right there. So now we're going to set up BlueJ, guys. So on BlueJ, we just click next. And in this case, I'm just going to click for install for all users on this machine. Next. Next. I have to change this because I have 2 different states. And just click install. Click yeah. And we should be done with this. Perfect. Now guys, we're going to click BlueJ. We're going to wait for it to open up. And this should pop up. So we're going to click project, new project, and we're going to choose the location of it. So we're just going to name this application Basics. And now we're going to choose the location of this. And since we have already created the files for it, this should be easy to find. All we have to do is just find the file. So 3D objects, code, home, Java. And we're going to highlight this folder. So just click this once, select folder, and press OK. So now we're going to press new class. And we're going to name this Basics again. And then press OK. Now we're going to click on OK. No, click on Basics. Double click it. And we don't need any of this code right here. So what we're going to do is press Control A to highlight all of it. And then backspace to delete all of it. Perfect. So let's go back to SoloLearn. We're going to click it in the Hello program. So guys, we are going to run a program that runs Hello World. This is how the code of it looks like. In Java, each application has an entry point or a starting point, which is a method called main. Along with main, the keywords are public and static, will also be explained later. As a summary, every program in Java must have a class. Every Java program starts from the main method. Next one. Which method is the starting point of all Java programs? As we have just read, it's main. The main method. To run our program, the main method must be identical to the signature. Public static void main, parentheses string, brackets, and args. Public, anyone can access it. Static, method can be run without creating an instance of the class containing the main method. Void, method doesn't return any value. Main, the name of the method. For an example, the following code declares a method called test, which does not return anything and has no parameters. The method's parameters are declared inside the parentheses that follow the name of the method. For main, it's an array of strings called args. We will use it on our next lesson, so don't worry if you don't understand it all now. For which I actually will have to agree with this. It's still quite too early. Next one. Fill in the blank to declare that a method called hello. So we're just going to void main. Oh, wait a minute. What did I do wrong, guys? Let's look at Hello, darkness, my old friend. So as we look in the comment section, guys, a lot of people have actually typed in main also, just like how I did. But in reality, this is just a mind game. It actually was void main, but it's asking us to fill in the blank to declare that a method called hello instead of main. So that would actually be hello. But actually was correct anyway. Next one. System that I'm printing. So next is the body of the main method, enclosed in curly braces. And this is how the code of it looks like. The printing method prints a line of text to the screen. The screen class and its stream are used to access the printing method. In classes, methods, and other flow control structures, code is always enclosed in curly braces. Okay, so we have that now. Which method prints text in a Java program? Not this one. Not that one. Not that one. So the thing about this is that we just have to remember, guys, that it is system.out.printing. Any of these else are just wrong. So next one. So that's pretty much all we have to remember. So the semicolons during Java. You can pass different text as a parameter to the printing method to print it. That's how the class of it looks like. In Java, each code statement must end with a semicolon. Remember, do not use semicolons after a method in class declarations that follow with the body defined using the curly braces. For an example, I wouldn't put the curly brace right here or there. It has to be done at the end of the statement, and this is a statement. Next one. Fill in the blanks to create a valid Java program. Void main. That's definitely main. And that's class. And we have pretty much written through our first program, guys. So now let's go back to BlueJ. Oh, don't worry about that. So we have learned how to create a hello world app now. So all we have to do now is just create it. So we're gonna put public here. Oh wait a minute, I guess I can't see that. I got to really close in on this. Hopefully that should be big enough. No, it's not big enough. Public basics. And why is it basics? You guys might ask. It's because that's what our file is actually called. So if we go back to file, 3D objects, code, home, Java. Our file is called basics, and so is our Java file. So whatever your Java file is, you're going to name as this up here. But I forgot something. Public class basics. Now, open curly brace and close curly brace. So we have that part down now. Next, we need to do public static void main parentheses string brackets and ours. And also for that, we have to add on, dude, open and close curly brace. And now the last thing we have to do now is write system.outputting print. And next, we just type in open and close curly brace. No, parentheses I meant, guys. My bad. Quotation marks. And then hello world. Oh, and of course, this is something that I always forget, though, is the semicolon. If you forget a semicolon, dude, somewhere, you have a lot of problems. Please, so please don't forget to add curly braces. Not curly braces, semicolons. So we're going to go back to BlueJ, open this, basics. We're going to compile this, and then we're going to void main. And we now have a program that writes hello world. So guys, I've just run into a problem to where if you were to run this multiple times, the hello world will just keep popping up. Or after you try to run into it, it wouldn't really delete it. So we just go back to right click it, void main. Just click OK, and go to the options up here, and then go to where it says clear screen and do that mapping code, and make sure it's highlighted. Now that it's highlighted, we won't have to worry about it no more. As you can see, the multiple lines of it's not there no more. So, moving on, guys. Now we're gonna move on to Java comments. So the purpose, dude, of including comments, dude, in your code is to explain, dude, what the code is doing. Java supports, dude, both single and multi-line comments. All characters that appear within a comment, dude, are ignored by the Java compiler. So if we were to go back to our BlueJ and write a comment like this comment, the compiler would just ignore this. This does not affect the code. However, if we were to write behind it like this, it would, because this is part of the code. So always do it at the end of the line. So back to Chrome. So now that I just discussed that, let's make the beginning of the line. There we go. And now we should multi-line comments that are kind of different. Okay, so but this I'm going to write it in here. Start again. So that is a multi-line comment. Instead of doing this, which is a single line comment. So now that we have done that, let's go back. So make this a multi-line comment. So whatever it is just a dash star, and then to close it, it's a star dash. I can't pronounce that word because my English is really bad. So the correct answer would be this. And we pretty much did, guys. We're done with the comment section now. Alright, guys. So let's use what we have learned so far. We still have our basic piece of code, but now let's use comments to make this a little bit easier. So I'll comment this, start of class, and then down here, the end of class. And then we're going to put the start of main. Stupid keyboard. Anyways, and then the end of main. And the multi-line comment, dude, I don't think we should really use it because we really don't have a use for it, but we're gonna put it down here anyway. Actually, it already tried to do it for me. How awesome. I think mine just crashed on me, but you guys get the idea. So the next thing we're going to be learning about, dude, is variables. And there are different mini variables types that we have in Java. Alright, so we have int, double, and string, and boolean. Wherever that's at. It's not listed here, but it is a thing. So int is for integers or whole numbers. Double is for something for fractions that are decibels. An example of that would be pi, which is 3.14. And string, that's mostly for text, for something like hello, dude, or good morning. And text strings, dude, they have to be enclosed with double quotes. For example, good morning. Anything within the quotes, dude, it will print out. And that is the string. But I'll show you guys that dude in BlueJ in a few minutes. Which variable type would you use it for a city name? What type of variable stores text? As we probably remember, that is string. Alright, an example of the variable declarations. So here's an example of a code. So this is string, and then this is the variable. We are declaring what type of variable this is going to be. And if we use string, we're declaring that name as a variable of a text. And then we're going to set that value to David in double quotes. And we know that that's only whole numbers or integers. So we are declaring that age is only a whole number. Now we just assign that the value of 42. A double could be anything to do with fractions or decibels. So we are declaring that this type of variable, dude, is a double, or basically has fractions or a decimal. In that case, 15.9. A char is basically only one letter. So we're declaring that group is only one letter. Quote Z. And we also have boolean. So which is only a true or false statement. For example, am I online? Set that value to true. Alright, so drag and drop through the options below to have a valid Java program. So that's correct, and so on. So this is a name, that's definitely a string. Age, a whole number. Int. Height, there's a decimal in here, so that's double. Alright guys, we got variables down. And now that we have variables down, let's upload that to BlueJ. So we're back in our basic code, and now we're going to add on variables. So first off, let's add an int, age. This can be whatever number as you wish. But in this case, I'm just going to add my age. 17. My favorite double is going to be pi. So we're going to set that to 3.14, semicolon. A string. I'm going to put name here. We're going to declare name as a string equal to my name, which is Fabian. Now we're going to use char. Wherever that is, because I can. Oh, yeah, that's how you spell it, because I rarely use it. So I probably won't remember how to spell that one, but I did. Group. Oh, that's right, I forgot the equal sign. Dude, I really hate looking down on my keyboard at nighttime. Because it did take me all day long to make this video, so that my voice doesn't come out do that all crappy. So there we have it, guys. Moving on. So now we're going to talk about the primitive operators. The math operators. Java provides a rich set of operators to use in manipulating variables. A value used on either side of an operator is called an opword, which I can't really pronounce. For an example, in the expression below, the numbers 6 and 9 are operators of the plus operator. So here we are declaring that x is equal to 6 plus 3. In that case, the computer reads this dude as int, declaring x as a whole number is 9. But this is not the only operator there is. There is also subtraction, multiplication, division, and model. Fill in the blanks to declare an integer variable and set its value to 5. So declare an integer. So that's int. And now it's asking us to set its value to 5. So we're going to set this to 5. So the plus operator adds to two values such as context and a context, or a variable and a variable. Here are a few examples of addition. So we're going to declare sum1 equal to 50 plus 10. So the computer will read this as sum1 equals 60. And since we have already declared sum1 to be 60, we're going to declare sum2 60 plus 60, which is 102. And we can just keep reassigning the value to int. So now we're going to declare sum3 as 102 plus 102. And it's the same thing for subtraction. So we're going to declare sum1 as 1000 minus 10. So that's definitely 990. And it's the same thing as this, but except that it's subtraction. And you can do this multiple times. For example, val, we're going to declare out as a whole number as 10 plus 5 plus, no, sorry guys, 10 plus 5 minus 2. So that's 15 minus 2, 13. Moving on. Fill in the blanks to print out the sum of two variables. So, and we're going to declare x as a whole number. We're going to set that to 2. And the same thing for y, except it's going to be 4. And the sum, that's basically adding up. So we're going to add x plus y. Because it's asking us to add together both of the variables. And the only variables we have right now, dude, is x and y. So some of you guys might be confused on what to print here. But we're going to add sub. Wait a minute, something doesn't seem right. Okay, this is what I did wrong. So now it's asking us to print out the whole sum. And this right here is the sum of it. Well, this is not the sum. We're declaring that the result is the sum, and this is the sum. So this is the result. And the same thing deal with adding and subtraction. We also have the multiplication and division. For example, we're declaring sum1 to be 1000 times 2. In that case, it'll be 2000. And the same thing is repeated with division. So what is the result of this following code? Declaring x is 15 and declaring y is 4. So now we're going to divide 15 by 4. So we're declaring that the result is 15 divided by 4. So that's definitely 3. Oops. You guys are probably asking why it's 3. The correct answer, it actually is 3.75, and that can be rounded up to 4. But since int is only an int number, it only wants a whole number to an integer. So I gotta show you guys that. Some of you guys are wondering why 15 divided by 4 is only 3. Okay, but as we all know, the actual real life answer to this is 3.75. But there's something here that we're missing that we haven't thought of yet. X and Y and result, they're all declared as an int. And as we remember, int, it only counts to the whole number or the integer. And since this is a fraction and it has a decimal, this just gets chopped off by int, and it only counts to 3. The only exception is to where this wouldn't be wrong is if we were to declare it as a double, but it's not a double. So if we go back and look at this again, if we were to place double result, then it would be with a decimal. But then again, it's only an int, so therefore it's only leaving the 3 behind. And that's pretty much all. Now moving on to the next question. So a modo, or the remainder of, a math operator performs an integer division by a value of 1 by another, and returns the remainder of that division. So int value is 23, and int result is value %6. So let's try this out, guys. So we're going to declare x as an 8 and y as 5. I will have to admit that this was a pretty confusing one. So I am going to do another example. I just gotta find the right toothbrush, and then I gotta find the right answer or the right comment. Okay. So here we have 8 and 5. This is not dude 8 minus 5. It is something completely different. So if we think of it as this, how many times can 5 go to 8? Only once. So in that case, we only have 1 times 1 would be 5. Now, if we bring this 8 down and bring this 5 over here, and then it would be 8 minus 5. But this is quite a coincidence. I can't pronounce that word. But I will have to show you guys another example in order for us to even understand this. But we gotta answer this real quick. So that would be 3. Now, let's do another example. So let's do 17. Um, 17, what else could it be? 17 and 4. So if it were to be asking us if this was 17 and this was 4, and then we would write this down, it would be asking us how many times can 4 go into 17. And that's definitely 4. Because if we times these two together with 16. And since 16 is the closest we can get to 17, with how many times we can put 4 into 17. That's it. Now, let's bring this down, and this over here. So how far is 17 away from 6? Only 1. It is the same thing for this. I hope you guys are not as confused as I am, and if not, just keep looking at more examples during the comment section. Now we can move forward. Increment or decrement. I can't really pronounce them correctly, but here we go. An increment or a decrement operator provides more convenient and compact way to increase or decrease the value of a variable by 1. For an example, the statement x equals x plus 1 could be simplified to plus plus x. An example of that would be declaring text as good as an integer and set its value to 5. Plus plus test, all this does is just assign one more integer by 1 to the original variable. For an example, this is now 6. And decrement operator is basically the same thing as this, but except it's minus. So therefore this is just taking away 1. Negative test, it's now 4. For example, fill in the blanks to print 1. 11 I meant, guys. So since we're declaring a as an integer and sets value to 10, and they want us to print out 11, all we gotta do is just add plus plus. So moving on to the next question. Prefix and postfix. So basically one of them, this is really hard to describe. So I'm just going to look the code down here and kind of explain that one. So we're declaring x to as 34, and then we're going to declare y as if it was x plus plus. So therefore y is 34. So x is assigned due to y, and then it is incremented due by 1. Therefore x becomes 35, while y is assigned the value of 34. So moving on. This is going to be 14 because in front of x it is plus plus. Only if the plus plus was behind the x, and then it would be 15. But since it's in front of it, it's 14. Assignment operators. You're already familiar with the assignment operator equals, which assigns a value to a variable, for which I have been talking about this whole time in this video. So this assigns the value of 5 to a variable called the value due to type of int. Java provides with a number of assignment operators to make it easier to write code. Addition and assignment. So someone that is declared due to as a whole number or an integer equals 4. So each time you see the plus and equals at the same time like this, it's meaning that you add them together and it's also the result. So moving on. Fill in the missing parts in the following code to print 13. So x is equals to 25. All we have to do here is just type in x. And then print out y. If you guys think about it, dude, 25 minus 2 is 13. And since x is plugged into 25, all I would do is just put x in here. And then print out y, since y is equal to 13. And there we have it, guys. Now, moving on to strings. If this wants to even load up anyway. Alright. A string is an object that represents a sequence of characters. For an example, hello is a string of 5 characters. For an example, string s, we're declaring that s is a string is equal to SoloLearn. But remember guys, that in strings we have to put double quotes on it. And you are allowed to define it an empty string, for an example, string str, or whatever that is. Drag and drop the options below to print out hello. So this is a string, var. So we're declaring that var is a string, and we're going to set var to hello. So that's where we're print out var, because if we were to print out var, if we already give something a value, then we're not going to put it in double quotes. But if we want to print out anything else we want to, that isn't given a variable, and then we would have to put it in double quotes. String Carmen, I can't really pronounce that. It's the plus operator between string adds them together to make a new string. This process is called can't really pronounce it. The result string is the first string put together with the second string. For an example, string first name, last name. The first name is David, last name Williams. So we are declaring that both first name and last name is a string. So we're going to set the first name to David in double quotes, and the same thing with last name. So if we were to put system.outprinting and put this in double quotes, parentheses, my name is first name plus last name, this will print out that my name is David Williams. Which statement in regard to the char data type is true? This is definitely not true because remember guys, char is only one word or letter, basically. And the same thing as I said up here, char is only stored due to use signal words or letters, and not numbers. So the correct answer would be this. And now we have also completed strings, guys. This next one, guys, is going to be a really hard one, and I personally don't think it should even be here. But we're going to click on getting user input. So while Java provides so many different methods for getting user input, and an example of user input would be me or you watching this video, pausing the video, making it play, searching up, all of that. That is all user interface. It's what the code does whenever you have something to respond to. The scanner object is the most common, and perhaps the easiest to implement. Import the scanner class to use the scanner object, as seen here. So all this really is doing, guys, is just importing or bringing in already a bunch of Java build commands into your code. In order to use the scanner class, create an instance of the class by using the following syntax. Scanner myvar equals new scanner parentheses system.in. For which, guys, this is actually way too early for you to even understand. You guys shouldn't probably even do this. I might have to reteach you guys this in a different video, because this is too early for this. But I'm going to at least keep trying to teach you guys this. So if you guys don't understand this part of the module, please do not feel bad. This was the bad thing on them. So we're going to import Java. That seems right. Looking at this code, it's blank. SC equals new scanner. New scanner. So we're making a new scanner, so that scanner definitely belongs in here. Because we are declaring that SC dude is a scanner. So that has to be a scanner. And down here we'll go next line. For which again guys, I can't really properly explain this. It's quite too advanced for even me. And I don't even think I should even learn this. It's too early for this. So we're just gonna skip this. And now, finally guys, nearly the end of the video, we're gonna take the Module 1 quiz. So I really encourage you guys to pause the video right now and try to do it yourself. If you fail this, I'll come and help you out right now. So I'm assuming that you took a test, dude, when you pause the video. So please type in the code, dude, to declare two variables of the type int and print their sum using the sum variable. So if you guys look right here, y is set of 7, and 7 is a whole number. Even though that's only what an int does. And the sum means addition. And it's asking us to print out their sum. So that's going to be plus. And then it's asking us also to print out the sum. So down here we're just going to put sum. In every Java program, there must be a method called main, as we have learned in the beginning of the video. And lastly but not least, drag and drop the options below to output the name. So what variable stores names or text? Not string. And something that we have to remember how to print something out, it's system. And it wants us to print out the name, and since name is declared as David, we're going to put name right here. And that's it guys. You have now completed the basic concepts of Java. So I hope you guys have a good day. And if you guys have comments about anything or questions, I'm more than willing to help you out in the comment section. So if you have questions, please ask me. So, goodbye. Signing off. Well, no. Before I sign off, guys, so everything that we have learned right now in basic concepts, I really encourage you guys to type it in here. Everything you have learned, and tweak the hell out of it. That's how you will learn. That's how I learned. For example, just put a bunch of random numbers here. Really mess around with it and see what you guys can get out of this. And now that's all I pretty much have to say, guys. So you just gotta compile this. Go back to basics. Void main out of it. And you should have that we have learned today. Now I'm actually signing off. So now guys, goodbye.